You need to understand what is happening right now, because the car industry is not just changing, it is being completely rewritten. We are looking at a 3.5-ton luxury SUV that is currently driving on water. No, I did not stutter, and no, that is not CGI. This vehicle is physically floating in a lake, sealing itself off like a submarine and using its wheels as propellers to drive back to shore. It has 1,200 horsepower. It can spin in a perfect circle on dry pavement like a tank. It has a built-in airport on the roof for a drone that flies itself. And the interior makes a Rolls-Royce Cullinan blush. I am telling you, we are in trouble. This is the BYD YangWang U8 L. The L stands for long wheelbase, which basically means they took the regular U8, which was already a monster, and stretched it out to create a private jet for the road. And today, I am going to walk you through every single inch of this thing, because you need to see it to believe it. This isn't just a car review, this is a wake-up call. The Chinese car industry just dropped a nuke on the luxury market, and I don't think anyone in Detroit or Stuttgart was ready for it. Let's start with the face of this thing, because honestly, it's terrifying. They call this design language interstellar, and for once, a marketing team actually nailed the name. It looks like something an alien warlord would drive to a peace treaty negotiation. The grille isn't just a grille, it's a massive gate of time that blends into the headlights. When the car is off, it looks like a black mirror, like a void. But when you unlock it, the entire front end wakes up with this matrix LED light show that looks like a meteor shower crashing into the atmosphere. It's aggressive, it's blocky, and it has this sheer presence that makes a Range Rover look polite. If you see this in your rearview mirror, you don't just move over, you feel the urge to apologize for existing in its lane. And look at the roof. See those 3 bumps right above the windshield? That is not styling. That is military-grade hardware. We're talking LiDAR units and night vision cameras. This car can see in pitch-black darkness better than you can see at noon. It's mapping the world in 3D, millimeters at a time, looking for pedestrians, other cars, or maybe just judging the potholes. It feels like it's scanning your soul. And the sheer scale of it. This is the L version, so it's roughly 5.4 meters long. It's a land yacht. It's huge. But the proportions are so squared off and muscular that it doesn't look bloaty like some luxury SUVs. It looks dense, like it's carved out of a single block of granite. Walking around to the side, you really start to see the flex. The wheels are massive, 22-inch forged alloys. But look closer. Look at the center cap. It's floating. Just like a Rolls-Royce, the YangWang logo stays perfectly upright while the wheel spins. It's such a small detail, but it tells you exactly who they're gunning for. They aren't trying to beat Ford or Chevy, they are headhunting Goodwood. And on this specific edition, that logo isn't plastic, it's not aluminum, it's gold, copper, and gold. I'm not joking. Who puts gold on a wheel cap? Someone who wants to make sure you know they have money, that's who. And check out the D-pillar here on the side. There are these 6 silver bars embedded in the glass. It's actually an LED battery indicator. So when you plug the car in, you don't have to check your phone or look at the dashboard. You can just glance at the side of the car from your living room window and the bars light up to tell you how full the battery is. It's such a simple, functional flex. Why doesn't my Tesla do that? Why do I have to open an app? This is what I mean. They are thinking of things we didn't even know we wanted. But the craziest engineering flex on the exterior is something you can't even see until you look inside the wheel wells. Look at the space in there. This car rides on the DiSus-P hydraulic suspension system. It's not just air suspension, it's hydraulic. That means it can control the oil flow to each shock absorber instantly. Here's why that matters. If you get a flat tire in this car, you don't stop. You don't call AAA. The suspension detects the pressure loss and physically lifts that corner of the car up. It balances the vehicle on 3 wheels, and you can drive to the repair shop at normal speeds without destroying your rim. Bro, what? That feels illegal. It's like the car is refusing to be inconvenienced by reality. And around the back, the insanity continues. The taillights are these massive pixelated clusters that look like 8-bit graphics from a video game, but made of rubies. It's retro and futuristic at the same time. The spare tire cover is a giant octagon, and honestly, the whole rear end gives off this vibe of, I can go anywhere, but I'm going to look expensive doing it. But notice what's missing. There is no rear wiper. I looked everywhere. It's gone. Why? Because a wiper blade is ugly. Instead, they installed a high-pressure air jet and a camera system that cleans the rear glass instantly. They engineered a complex pneumatic system just to avoid putting a piece of rubber on the glass. That is the level of obsession we are dealing with here. Now, let's talk about what's under the skin, because the numbers on the spec sheet read like fan fiction. This is built on BYD's E4 platform. That means 4 independent electric motors, one for each wheel. There is no drive shaft, no differential connecting the left and right wheels. Each wheel has a mind of its own. Combined, these motors put out 1,180 horsepower. Let me say that again. 1,180. This is a boxy SUV that weighs as much as a small house and has more power than a Bugatti Veyron did when it first came out. It hits 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. That is faster than a Corvette Stingray. Imagine pulling up to a stoplight in your sleek, aerodynamic sports car and getting gapped by a 3-row family hauler with a fridge in the back. It's humiliating. But horsepower isn't even the cool part. Because each wheel is independent, they can spin in opposite directions. The left wheel spin forward, the right wheel spin backward, and the car performs a tank turn. It rotates 360 degrees on its own axis. Imagine you're in a tight parking spot or you hit a dead end on a narrow trail. You don't do a 3-point turn, you don't back up, you just activate tank mode, spin around, and drive away. The valet guys would lose their minds. You could literally just spin in circles to flex on people. It destroys tires, sure, but if you can afford this car, you can afford tires. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but it's an EV, so range anxiety, right? Wrong. This is an EREV, extended range electric vehicle. Under the hood, there's a 2.0-liter turbo engine, but that engine isn't connected to the wheels. It's just a massive generator. Its only job is to sit there, sip gas, and charge the massive 49 kilowatt-hour battery. So you drive on pure electricity for about 120 miles, which covers 99% of your daily life. But if you want a road trip, the gas engine kicks in seamlessly, charges the battery, and gives you a total combined range of over 620 miles. You get the instant torque and silence of an electric car with the convenience of a gas station. It is the perfect bridge technology, and it makes so much sense for a vehicle this size. But we have to talk about the water, the emergency float mode. This is the feature that broke the internet. The entire core of the car is IP68 waterproof rated. If you drive into deep water, maybe a flash flood, maybe you're just adventurous, the sensors detect that the wheels have lost contact with the ground. Immediately, the suspension lifts to the maximum height, the windows roll up, the sunroof opens so you have an escape route if needed, the climate control switches to recirculation to seal the cabin, and the car floats. It becomes a boat. But because the wheels can spin independently and torque vector, they act like paddle wheels. You can actually steer and move forward at about 2 miles per hour to get back to shore. It keeps you afloat for up to 30 minutes. I mean, when was the last time Ford added a boat mode to the Explorer? Never. That's when. Okay, deep breath, because we haven't even opened the door yet. The exterior is the flex. The interior is the apology letter to your bank account. As you approach, the power retractable running boards lower down to greet you. You open the door and the smell hits you. It's that rich, expensive leather smell. Nappa leather. Everywhere. And I mean everywhere. The dashboard, the door pockets, the ceiling, the sides of the center console where your knee rests. There is not a single piece of hard, scratchy plastic in this cabin. The design is overwhelming. They call it a cockpit, and it feels like one. The dashboard is dominated by screens, but it's symmetrical, which is so pleasing to the eye. In the center, you have this beautiful 12.8-inch OLED curved screen that waterfalls down into the console. The blacks are perfect, the colors pop, the resolution is crisp. But then, in front of the driver, there's a 23.6-inch ultra-wide screen for your gauges and info. And then, because why not, there is another identical 23.6-inch screen for the passenger. This passenger screen is wild. It has a privacy filter so the driver can't see it and get distracted. Your passenger can be watching Netflix, scrolling TikTok, or, and this is my favorite part, managing the built-in karaoke system. Yes, the car comes with factory microphones. You can sing your heart out while doing 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. It's ridiculous and I love it. And the physical controls. Thank you, BYD. They didn't bury everything in a touchscreen. Below the center screen, there are these tactile heavy metal toggle switches for your drive modes and climate. They click with this satisfying mechanical sound, like you're arming a missile. The air vents are motorized. They sit flush when off, and when you turn on the AC, they rise up out of the dashboard like little turrets. It's theater. Every time you start the car, it puts on a performance for you. Let's talk about the seats. In the front, you have these massive throne-like chairs. They are heated, ventilated, and have a massage function that is stronger than most actual masseuses. But because this is the L version, the real party is in the back. This is where the CEO sits, or the warlord, or the kid whose parents really love them. The rear legroom is infinite. You could adopt a golden retriever and have it live on the floorboard back here. The seats are individual captain's chairs that look like they were stolen from a Gulfstream jet. With one button press, the zero gravity mode activates. The seat back reclines to 45 degrees, the leg rest extends, the footrest drops down, and the massage program starts. You're literally lying down. In the center armrest between the rear seats, there is an 8-inch touchscreen just to control the back environment. You can control the sunroof, the ambient lighting, which has 127 colors by the way, the music, and the fridge. Oh yes, the fridge. It's not just a cooler box, it's a compressor fridge. It can freeze down to -6 degrees Celsius if you want ice cream, or heat up to 50 degrees if you want warm tea. It holds a bottle of champagne perfectly. Imagine being reclined, getting a hot stone massage, drinking chilled sparkling water while your car drives itself through traffic. It's not driving, it's land travel. But wait, I promised you something that no other car has. Something that sounds like a lie until you see it. The drone port. If you opt for the Player Edition, the roof box isn't for luggage. It is a fully automated hangar for a DJI drone. You press a button on the screen called Launch, and the roof physically opens. A robotic arm lifts the drone out, the drone takes off, it syncs with your car's GPS and follows you. You can select Adventure mode on the screen, and the drone will film your car driving from cinematic angles, tracking shots, overhead shots, side profiles, all automatically. The video feeds live to the center screen so you can see yourself driving in third-person view, like Grand Theft Auto. And when the drone's battery gets low, it flies back to the car, lands on the roof, and the robotic arm takes it inside. But here's the kicker. The car's internal system physically swaps the drone's battery for a fresh one while you're driving, charges the dead one, and gets the drone ready to fly again. Bro, are you hearing me? My car barely connects to Bluetooth without glitching, and this car is managing an autonomous Air Force on its roof. It is baffling. It is tech overload. It is the coolest thing I have ever seen. Why would you need this? I don't know. Maybe to check traffic ahead, maybe to scout off-road trails, maybe just to make a really sick Instagram reel. It doesn't matter why, it matters that they did it. And that brings me to the price. When you look at a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, you're talking $400,000 to start. By the time you add options, you're at $500,000. A G-Wagon is $200,000 easily with dealer markups. The Range Rover SV is up there too. So what does this Chinese spaceship cost? The YangWang U8 L, fully loaded with the screens, the leather, the 1,200 horsepower, the floating capability, the tank turn tech. It costs roughly 1.28 million RMB in China. That converts to about 180,000 US dollars. Now, $180,000 is a lot of money. I'm not saying it's cheap, but compare it. It is literally 1/3 the price of a Cullinan. It is cheaper than a G63 AMG, and objectively, looking at the spec sheet, looking at the materials, looking at the tech, it offers 3 times as much. If this car landed in US showrooms tomorrow at that price tag, Cadillac would be sweating, Lincoln would be crying, the Europeans would be in emergency board meetings. So this is why we have tariffs. This is why it's hard to import these, because if the free market just let this thing in, it would destroy the competition. It makes American luxury feel outdated. It makes European luxury feel overpriced. It feels like a product from a timeline where technology moved twice as fast. So here's the question I have to leave you with. Put aside the politics, put aside the brand loyalty. If you had $200,000 to spend on the ultimate SUV, would you buy the one that has barely changed in 40 years? Or would you buy the one that can float, spin, fly a drone, and massage you with hot stones while doing 0 to 60 in 3 seconds? I think I know the answer, and honestly, it scares me a little, because I'm looking at my trusty old SUV in the driveway, and for the first time, it looks like a horse and buggy. The future is here, guys, and it's doing a tank turn in a lake somewhere in China. Let me know in the comments, would you drive this? Are you jealous, or do you think it's too much tech? I genuinely want to know. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe so we can reach 1 million, and maybe I can afford to import one of these bad boys for the channel. Until next time, keep driving, and try not to drive into any lakes unless you have a YangWang. Peace.